Yes, yes, yes. We are live. We are live. What is going on, Bears family? What's going on to everybody on Twitter that's watching, everybody on YouTube? If you haven't, go to Jared Payton right now on YouTube. Click the subscribe button because we got a lot of stuff. Just when stuff pops up, Bear stuff or conversations that, you know, my boys want to stop by and talk a little bit. That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk some Bears. And I know that you guys are going to enjoy the guest today. I'm not even calling him a guest because he's kind of like my brother, and I get a chance to be able to talk with him. Yeah, y'all see what it is. Let me put this back up here. So I know Bears fans are getting excited. They want one of those. I'm going to bring him in. I felt like I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to anyway, just because, man, we talk about all the stuff that this man has done in his career. Let's hold up. Let's bring him on. Where's he at? Oh, it's my guy. Jerry Zuma is in the building. Listen, you go through, right? You go through, and it's funny because you start looking up your accomplishments and what you've done in your career, man. And man, like I talk about you as everybody talks about you as a cornerback. I'm talking about you as a running back, dude. Cats don't know, like,
Yeah, a lot of people don't know.
They don't know how lethal that is, and it made me think about my career as like a soccer player, and people only think I played football. They don't know that I played soccer. So, dude,
A very dominant soccer player.
yeah, before we get into all that, 1998, fam, you won the FCS Walter Payton Award for the best offensive player, dude. Like,
yeah,
to me, that's crazy. And then come to the Bears. What was it like for you to win that award, being a running back, and then come into the place where my dad, like, you know, made his legacy and created his lore here in Chicago? What was that like for you?
I mean, just being recognized as the nation's best was just a spectacular feeling. I just can't recreate that feeling. It was just incredible. But my whole life, I played football, obviously, but I was always a running back. I was always on the offensive side of the ball. And it was just a natural position. And your father, Mr. Walter Payton, I mean, I wanted to grow up and be just like him. So he was instrumental into making me who I am today. And, you know, being on that football field, I just wanted to do everything that your father did. I mean, Walter was incredibly special on that football field, and just the way that he just moved, and just the precision that he just saw the field with, it was just incredible. And I was like, you know what, I want to be that person right there. So when I got the opportunity in college at University of New Hampshire, I was like, look, I'm gonna, I don't have no plans to sit on the bench ever again. So I'm gonna go out there and just rock it. And they gave me the opportunity. Chip Kelly was actually my running back coach at the time, and it's funny because Ryan Day was my quarterback at the time as well. So I mean, there's a lot of great football minds at the University of New Hampshire, and they found a way to, you know, really make me productive um, on the field at UNH. And you know, the award came afterwards, but it was a collective effort. But being an offensive player, that was home. Being a running back was just home for me. And I was on to a different challenge when I went to the combine as a running back. And then I started to get a lot of buzz about possibly moving over to the defensive side of the ball, even though I've never done that before. You know, like I always say, running forward and running backwards are two totally different things. And then doing it at the highest level possible is another thing. So it was a lot of hard work, but I really enjoyed my time with the Chicago Bears and playing with the incredible defense, um, top to bottom, just incredible dudes. Just it was a lot of fun. My experience was tremendous.
I see all these other shows, right? I see all these other shows, and they talk about giving everybody their flowers. Like, we got to give them their flowers. We talking football here, so instead of giving you your flowers, I feel like now, if I have a chance to talk to former players like yourself, I'm not going to give them their flowers. I'm going to give them their own designated play, because you know how special that is when you're that good, that your coach, they find a way in their scheme to be able to give you your own, like, you have your own package. Like when Devin Hester always had his own package when he was with us at the U, and then also here in Chicago on the offensive side. And man, like, it's amazing to know you. And I look at you as like a big bro, but then I also look at it as like, man, watching you play grow up, for me, that was like, all right, like I was still I was in college trying to figure it out what I was going to do, and I'm like, who is this dude that can do
Right.
all this stuff? And I don't know how you went from running forwards to backwards. Because if it was me,
I don't
like
know either.
I don't think people know how hard that is. And cornerbacks are the best athletes on the football field, man. Like
Yeah,
in the way that the game is structured now, the way that you can't even really touch anybody, your
exactly.
athletic skills have to be phenomenal. And so it really kind of came to fruition for me when I went to the CFL and they have the waggle motion and you got
Right.
dudes running full speed.
Full speed.
And I was trying to figure out how guys in the CFL at corner it didn't translate to here in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I didn't know why those guys didn't get enough credit to be able to come back to the NFL or get a shot at the NFL.
Because when you're in the CFL, man, you need to be able to cover. I mean, these guys are coming full speed at you, so they possess like a special skill. I mean, because we don't see that in the NFL. We don't see that forward motion coming right at us. You know, we have to be pretty much stationary on the line. Like these guys are really special in the CFL because they see a different type of football.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, man, we gave you your design play, man. I gotta ask you, since we haven't really we've kind of chatted, but we haven't really talked about
Right.
like normally we do on my show GN Sports on WGN TV every single night at 10:30. I gotta plug that. You already know what time it
Mandatory.
is.
Mandatory.
Mandatory. Sunday through Thursday, we on Dan Roan and myself. I want to talk about the new regime. I mean, you think about it,
Yeah.
right? We haven't talked since Ryan Pace, Matt Nagy were shown the door, and now you got Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus who have taken over things at Hallis Hall. And I think a
Right.
lot of Bears fans have been kind of weary about the situation just because Ryan Poles and both Eberflus are both first time
Yeah, it's
at the
brand new.
positions, right? It's brand
Brand new.
new and it's new for them. But
Right.
talking to people around the league, especially about Poles and Eberflus, guys that have played with one of them or played for one of them and also had a chance to be in an organization with one, they speak highly of both men. So I wanted to get your take.
Extremely.
I wanted to get your take just on Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus and where you see this
Right.
organization going right now as we look to the future.
Look, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like when they decided to let that old regime go, it was probably like an admission of guilt, so to speak. That like, you know what, that wasn't the direction that we wanted to go in. We need another direction, and we've been playing this game for a long time since basically Lovey. I mean, Lovey was that solid foundation that was there for a while, and that brought us, a Super Bowl appearance and playoff wins. But now it's time to go in a different direction. I think that the Bears finally some things together. They hired an outside consultant, which was really good. And I've always been a component to put football minds in the front office and let the football minds go to work. And I feel like right now that the Chicago Bears do have football minds, football guys in the office, front office that are making, top decisions. And right now it's Poles ship to run. And he's making his presence felt immediately with personnel moves and things like that. And we're definitely going to get into all of that stuff. But the biggest move that he made was, Mr. Mack.
Ooh.
And we've been talking about this for probably about like the last year. I mean, when we brought Mack in, that's when Trubisky was right there as well, and they were projecting that they were ready to, take over and basically kind of control the North.
Hold up. Let's talk about that because it's a similar situation when you think about it. We've always been in different regimes where it's been how good the defense was. They were missing that piece with on offense at the quarterback position. You got Jay Cutler. You thought that defense was ready to go then, and it was.
Right.
And then you kind of missed out. You had a Super Bowl appearance, but you also missed out a little bit as well in different areas, right? And then also you had Cutler. You had it always seems like the defense has always been there and been ready, but offensively they haven't found a way. And I think a lot of people thought with Matt Nagy that he was going to take that offense into the next generation, into this modern day offense that we see in the NFL, and it never really happened. In 18, that defense was so good, Jerry.
That was the window. That was the window right there for them to get into. Yeah, they missed the window, and they brought Mack in, and they thought that they were ready for that. They brought in Trubisky, and they said, you know what, we're ready to win right now. And if you look at that team, that team was built like it was built really well defensively. They were ready to go, but that question mark at quarterback and just making the offense go has been the biggest question mark that the Chicago Bears have been in, for a long time now. So, with the way that the game is played right now and the structure of the NFL and the offenses, it's an offensive game, and you have to make sure that you have a quarterback that's ready to go. I'm a big component of still running the football. I know that a lot of people are trying to might get away from that, but for me, that's just a fundamental thing that you have to be able to run the ball and protect the quarterback. But running the ball is just essential. I mean, when you see guys like Matt Forte, for example, I mean, he was a workhorse. He was a powerhouse. He was a dependable person that you can just hand the ball off to, and you don't have to worry about things. It just took a lot of pressure off of everyone, so to speak, the offense, the quarterback, and sometimes the wide receivers. But I'm a big component of running the football, but you have to build that offensive line too. So if you look at what Poles is trying to do right now, he's in a full rebuild. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to get as much draft capital back as possible. He's very mindful of the cap, and I think that 2023 is going to be a big splash year for us. But there's some tough decisions that have to be made, and I think Mac was that first tough decision.
Yeah, it was. It was a tough
Yeah,
decision because Bears fans were really split, and a lot of people, we all love Mac. And when Mac got here, I'll never forget that day of I was laying in my bed and I saw the news, and I was like,
yeah.
"Holy cow!" Like,
We will never forget his first game against Green Bay.
no, I mean that
I
right
mean,
there was
instant impact.
instant impact. And I also look at this past season as well. I mean, with he was on pace to double digit sacks. I mean, he was on that way, but the injury happened and to the foot and had to kind of shut it down. And so I think a lot of people were upset that Ryan Poles didn't get enough in return in draft capital for
Right.
kind of trading him away. And it is what it is. I mean,
Right.
that's just kind of
I actually think that they got what they were supposed to get for him. You know what I'm saying? I think the Chargers took that whole contract over.
that right
So
there.
we got to like wash our hands away from that. And, we did get some draft capital. We got that second rounder. And I think that second rounder is going to be key.
Yeah.
I think that person that they pick will be productive right away and will be like a foundational player for the future moving forward. So I think that we're in a good spot, but I think the draft capital, getting some of that back, but the cap space is where you're going to make that splash. You're not going to feel it this year, but in 2023, I think they're going to go crazy and actually take a very serious run with getting multiple guys that can kind of complete like their vision and move this thing forward towards a championship.
Hey, isn't it interesting to see a new regime come into this organization and the way that fans value certain guys on the roster, like for over the last 4 or 5 years and who we value. And then to see Ryan Poles come in and maybe get rid of some of those household names that we've been accustomed to, it just goes to show that this regime values something totally different and looks at guys totally different, right? And so I get it. When Mac was that huge one. I think the biggest one that everybody needs to keep their eye on is how they value Justin Fields and his the way he progresses, because he wasn't their draft pick. They're coming in. We all believe in Justin Fields. We all think that he has the ability to be something special. Now it's going to be Ryan Poles's. It's going to be his job to put the players around him for him to be successful. It's going to be for Matt Eberflus and everybody offensively to kind of collectively come together and bring him out of his shell, right? But
yeah, I also think the
keep an eye on what happens with Justin and how they value Justin is what I'm saying.
Right. And Poles also is an offensive guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He comes from Kansas City, so he's seen a lot of different things, and he was very instrumental into building that offensive line and building, that offense, so to speak. And I think that it's kind of going to be reflected here in Chicago as well. I mean, his main objective, I think, right now is to build that strong offensive line. I think that he's evaluated the talent. He sees what talent is on the football field that the Chicago Bears have right now. And I think that he's a real strong believer in Justin Fields. So if he's a good, strong believer in Justin Fields, you have to be able to protect him. So I think that he has the right mindset to go out there and actually, get the right people to protect him and move this offense the way that it should be going.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen a really really good offense, just be super productive in a long time in Chicago. That's always been the question mark. I mean, defensively, it's always been defense is going to be good, defense is going to be good, and we've lived up to those expectations. But offensively, it's just been that big question mark. So I understand people's pain. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a new regime that's coming in. They're making sweeping changes all over the place immediately. But you have to trust the process and be a little bit patient. Because if you are, you start to think about the moves that he's making, you can understand the direction that they're moving towards. And you just have to give it some time and just let it kind of flourish.
Jay, hey, come on, Jay. I hear you preaching, but you know where Bears fans are. A lot of them. I tweeted this the other day. I said, man, you're gonna have to get from from the past and what you're used to and accustomed to. Bears fans are very hesitant to let go of things that have
Right.
happened in the past, and I get it.
Right.
I
There's
understand.
a lot of trauma there.
There's a lot of trauma, and I'm not telling them to like just look past, but you got to give this some time. You're going to have to, and I've been saying this even before the hiring of Poles and Eberflus. I thought this was going to be one of those times where you're going to have to tear it down and then build it back up again, because as Bears fans, everybody, it's always the quick fix. Let's try to figure out a way to stay in contention and stay in the NFC North on the top and battle the Packers. I'm cool with that. But that hasn't gotten us anywhere, and so like
I'm not cool with that. I'm cool with building a foundation.
Yeah, that's what
I think that's what Poles is doing right now, is building that foundation, but understanding that some really tough decisions have to be made. I mean, if you look at defense, like the defensive landscape is going to be completely different, completely different players, completely different scheme, and it's a scheme that I love. It's a scheme that like I thrived in with Tampa 2.0.
I need you to talk about that defensive scheme. I need you to talk about what's so different and why a guy like Mac doesn't really fit in what they're trying to do defensively.
Well, also I think with the whole Mac thing, I think what Quinn was able to do last year made them feel a lot better about this decision that they're making now, or the decision that they already made now about Mac. So Quinn has come along because we've been waiting for that. He's been having a lot of one-on-one matchups because Mac has just been attending so much. He's commanding so much attention that he sees double teams, even triple teams. So that means on the other side, it's one-on-one matchups. And Quinn, when he first got here, wasn't really winning those, but he made the adjustment, and last year was a big year for him. And I think that, with Poles kind of looking at the whole landscape of the defense, he said, you know what, this guy can be very productive in this new scheme that we're putting in. But, we got, the guy from Cincinnati,
Larry Ogunjobi.
Larry. And he is lightning in a bottle. I mean, if you see tape on this guy, I mean, he is the ultimate three technique. And he reminds you a lot of like a Tommy Harris, a Tank Johnson type of guy. You know what I'm saying? So like, we're going to get back to that stuff, that quickness, that speed, playing very, very fast, playing very physical. And that's the things that I love about Tampa too, because you had those dogs up front that were just disruptive. And I think Larry's going to be another one that's going to be very disruptive. We got also a linebacker too from Vegas.
Yeah.
That's going to be a super one because he's fast.
Tomorrow. Yeah, man.
Yeah, Nicholas. And he is extremely fast. I think Rowe ran like a 4.51 or something like that. And Morrow, I think he runs like a 4.52. So we have two extremely fast and instinctive athletic linebackers. And you got to feel good about that.
Yeah, a 1-year deal, $5 million. So we're talking about, Ogunjobi got a little bit more. We understand that. But when you're looking at the deals that, Ryan Poles is doing, he's not bringing in those big time names, making those splashes. You can't do that right now, but they're bringing in guys that either fit what they're trying to do offensively or defensively, especially on the offensive side of the ball as well, like Byron Pringle, the guy from the Chiefs coming over.
From the Chiefs,
Poles probably knows him very, very well. And Getsy probably knows a little bit about Equanimeous St. Brown as well from being with the Packers.
Big target and fast.
These are guys that he knows the system. Are they big time names? They're names. And I think hopefully you get an opportunity. If you can coach guys up, to me, I've always said this, and I've always felt like looking at what the Patriots did throughout their run when they had Tom Brady and how great he was. I'll give him his design play as well. But I also think it was their system and how they ran their system. And we saw them pluck different people from different teams that might not have worked, the Shea McClellan or from here, you know what I mean? And then put them into a situation because their foundation was so strong that it didn't really matter. They could take a 5th round pick or a guy that was a no-name guy and turn them into a name. That's what I want to build here in Chicago, where the system is so good on both sides of the ball that you can plug and pull, and next thing you know, boom, it doesn't really matter. The ship is still going, the train is still on the track because your system and what you do and how you teach the fundamentals.
Right, the fundamentals is huge.
The fundamentals are so key. And I know we look at guys and like, oh, they're amazing. It's the people that are coaching them. It's the vibe that you have. It's all that stuff that's combined together that makes a great team. So
exactly. But it takes time to do those things. You know what I'm saying? And we live in an environment with the NFL where we need it now. It's instant gratification. And I felt like, you know, throughout the years, we put some duct tape here and some glue here, and we try to make some quick fixes. But I think Poles understands foundation. Once you put that foundation in place and you get that core in place, then you can put those little pieces around them, and then you can make, you know, a 2, 3, 4, 5 year run. But it starts with, you know, up front. You know, the offensive line and the defensive line. That's where it starts.
Whoa. We have some breaking news right now, fam. Breaking Bears news. Just got it over Bleacher Report coming up now. Hold up. I'm going to give it to you real quick from Ian Rappaport. The Bears announced they won't be signing Larry Ogunjobi because of a failed physical. He is coming out of that foot surgery. So we have breaking news here. Yeah, we were just talking about a great addition. Doesn't seem like that is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, I'm shocked by that.
You're hearing that first right off the bat. So, yeah, man, we'll still have to see what they do. I want to get you some more questions because and more topics since I got you before we get out of here. There's been a lot of movement to start free agency and a lot of moves being made. Probably the biggest one dropping last night, right? With the Packers trading Davante Adams to the Raiders.
I'm good with that
deal. $28.5 million per year out there in Vegas. No state taxes. Well, man, are you kidding me?
Congratulations to him.
67.5 guarantee for that dude. So you already know he's to me the best receiver in the league. Your take
unstoppable.
When you heard it, isn't it kind of saying something? Aaron Rodgers going back to the Packers. He knew just from listening to reports that this could be an option, that it wasn't a for sure thing, that Adams was coming back. Where does this leave a guy like Aaron Rodgers not having his number one target? And also, what does this mean for a guy like Adams who's going to Las Vegas out there in the AFC West and get a chance to play with Derek Carr, his former college
at Fresno,
team,
right?
Right, yeah.
At Fresno, crazy. Yeah. So he's going back to his boy, but good for him. With Aaron, like there was a lot of controversy with him this year, or last season, but at the same time, he was able to be very productive. Now, they obviously didn't get the results that they wanted again, but you know, that's just what it was. They just ran into better teams on one particular day that was just better than them in their home place. But Aaron is going to be, you know, spectacular in this league. We already know what he brings to the table. He's going to be a leader for the Packers for a long time. You know, the next 4 years. That just means that the next man is up. Somebody else has to step up. I don't even really know who they have on their receiving core, but someone's going to have to step up for them. And kudos to Adams as well. I mean, he came out the gate and he says, you know what I want is this, and I deserve this. And he went out there and he got it. Now, I know that there was a lot of work that was done with the Raiders and the Packers to make that thing work. But I'm happy to see it, you know, as a Bears fan, because, you know, that's just one more weapon that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have. And it's, you know, I feel like a step closer for us to, you know, to achieve that ultimate goal with winning the Super Bowl, but first winning the division. So I think it's a step forward for the Chicago Bears as well. But you know what? I'm really not even worried about what Green Bay does. They're always going to be a solid team because they have Aaron Rodgers, you know, the MVP, and he's always going to be competitive and make it competitive. But it's just an advantage for us, you know, in the division. And I think that 2022 is going to be kind of like a rebuilding year. Obviously, we're going to try to figure out the schemes, figure out things to put in place, put that foundation down, and get ready for 2023.
Hey man, I know I'm all focused on where this team is headed. So it is what it is. You're gonna have to go through Green Bay to be able to make it happen. Polls are
I tell you
soft.
what, that AFC West is going to be
Dude,
incredible, though.
how did you know that? That was the next
Incredible.
thing I was going to talk about. Like, it is going to be like the SEC of pro football.
Oh,
like,
they are.
Quarterbacks. How crazy is it, man?
It's going to be crazy.
Hey, let's not forget Russell Wilson leaving,
Right.
being a longtime Seahawk, going to the
Endeavor
Broncos.
is ready to win right now. They are ready to win right now.
This is it's no joke. Like, literally
Yeah.
no joke. Like, I wish football
Chargers got better.
was coming back ASAP. I do want to ask you a question and get your take on one person, a former Chicago Bear. That's Mitchell Trubisky, man. Like,
Yeah.
a lot
Good for him.
of people, you talk about a polarizing dude here in Chicago when he had on a Bears uniform.
Right.
You look at his record as a starter. You got to give him his design play on that, man. I got to.
Right.
I mean, it speaks for itself. He might not have been what everybody hoped he was going to be. I think a lot of that has to do with not just his talent, the way he was picking up the game and under game. Coaching too was a big part of that. So that's a big factor. But now he gets another chance to be able to be a starter. He's taking over for Big Ben in Pittsburgh with the Steelers. You got to be happy for a guy like Trubisky.
He has a chance to be extremely special out there. I mean, you're hooking up in, a strong organization with the Steelers. Tomlin, probably the best coach in football right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's taken broken teams to the playoffs, and he's never had a losing season. So, in terms of like being with a solid coach, it gets no better than that. And I'm really happy for Mitch. I think that he's going to do extremely well. They have some weapons over there. Obviously, they have to start to build that team up as well. But I think that with what Mitch brings to the table, I think that the Steelers are going to be in good hands for the near future, for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, listen, Zoom, I appreciate you, man. It was real short and sweet. Now we got a chance to go watch some college basketball, man. Anytime you want to talk Bears, anytime you want to talk about anything, you already know you got a home here. Always
my brother.
Play. All right, man.
I appreciate it, brother.
All right,
hey,
man.
Good luck on your March Madness brackets.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I'll holler at you, bro.
All right, brother.
All right,
Thank
man.
you.
At Zoom, man, he joined us today here on whatever it's called. We got no name for this show, man. We have no name for this show. Not even a show. We just talking with Bears, talking football like everybody loves to talk. Please don't forget, go to my YouTube page, Jared Payton on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. We're going to be doing a lot more, especially around the time of the draft. We'll be breaking down stuff. More people joining me. As always, I was here, but now I'm gone. All right? Peace. Zoom!
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.